Hi everybody, this is Rhys Barber from Audiology Associates. Thank you very much for watching that earwax removal video today. If you've never come across the channel before, we post new earwax removal videos every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 9 PM UK time. So if you do enjoy it, then please consider subscribing. So what you can see here, we've got this lovely patient's come through, two very blocked up ear canals here. You can see the sheen on the wax. So this means the patient has been using a little bit of olive oil just to try and soften the edges of this wax. Now, olive oil does two things. It softens the outer layer of wax, so it makes it a bit easier for us to get a good grip as far as the suction tube is concerned. It also coats the canal wall, so it helps the wax to slide out of the ear a little bit more easily. We're just kind of working this wax and detaching it from the sort of the canal walls at the moment, just working this down the canal. You can see it's coming down nicely. Because it's got that softer layer to the outside, we can get a good grip, but the central section of wax there is not broken down completely, which means that that central portion of wax has stayed quite solid. So it means that the whole thing is starting to move down the canal a lot more efficiently. So there we are, you can see that's coming away nicely there. There's a little bit left behind it, so we'll go and grab that section. Thank you for bearing with us last week. We had some time booked off anyway, but yeah, we were pretty frazzled by the time we went off last week, so we managed to recharge our batteries a little bit this week now. So yeah, fingers crossed we should have some more videos coming out this week for you. So you can see now we're just taking away some of the looser bits of debris that got left behind. It's quite an interesting video, this one, because the patient has treated the wax very differently in both sides. So this side you can see that olive oil's gone in, softened that, prepared for the wax removal. Patient didn't realize that they had wax on the other side. So they haven't really prepared that side at all. So it's a good indication, good way for you to see the difference between the preparations in both sides, which is why we said it was sort of treated and untreated here. So just taking away some of the looser bits of wax there. You can see we've just got a couple of little bits and bobs left in there, so we'll just grab those few little things there. Just taking away this little lip at the front, so you can just see there's a little bit of wax, a little bit to the left as well. We'll just take that away, there we go. And we've got these two little pieces a bit further in. Just going to slowly creep up. You can see actually with this canal, look at all the blood vessels, how they come to the surface. So this is quite an aggravated ear canal. You can see there's a little bit of redness there. And very gentle to take that piece away. You wouldn't necessarily need to remove these pieces. I mean, I'm just doing it for the sake of completeness here. But it's all very much dependent on how your patient is coping with the procedure. Now, some patients do struggle a little bit sometimes with the procedure, but most of the time people are pretty good. But as long as your patient is happy enough for you to continue, I'll carry on and get the rest out. So this ear canal now, patient didn't realize that this ear canal had wax in it, so they haven't really prepared this side. No olive oil's gone in here at all, and you'll be able to see the difference in the wax. Now, much drier type of ear wax here, just lifting from the corners. You can see how it's firmly stuck, it's dried onto the canal wall here. So I'm just trying to maneuver this and trying to unstick it, but it's stuck pretty firm. So we're going to use the Jobson horn here. We're just going to go over the top of this front section of wax. Pull this down, just slowly working this out. It's coming away. I'm trying to put a steady pressure on it because you want to try and lift the whole thing if you can. It becomes more problematic the more you kind of scrape away the top layer of wax, if you like, because it becomes a much more awkward shape to work with, because if you've taken the central section away, it means you've got to work closer to those canal walls on both sides. You can see the dryness in there, how kind of it's really sort of almost bordering on a little bit crumbly in places. So yeah, not an easy type of wax to work with. But now we've taken that section away from the top, it means that we can get more of a lift to the bottom section, because that top portion of wax isn't kind of butting up against the roof of the canal. So as you're lifting, you've not got much clearance. But when you take that central section away, it means you've got a lot more clearance. So if you can get a good grip on this wax, which is what I'm trying to do at the base section, then as you lift, if you imagine, you're going to peel much further. Well, let's show you that way. You're going to peel much further along the canal. There we are. You can just see it starting to come away now. It's just loosening up. You can see that dry flakiness to the skin underneath there. There we go. It's starting to work out. It's got a little bit stuck at this point. You can see we've gone as high as we can now to try and peel this along. If it's solid enough, then sometimes we can use the crocodile forceps to get a good grip. You can see I've already tried to get pinch this once already, but I'm just going back in now for another pinch. But it's kind of this in-between state. It's not really solid enough to get a good grip to hold the whole thing to bring it out. It's actually just the jaws are just pinching straight through it, just breaking it away. But then it's not soft enough to be able to pull out in one kind of blob as well, if you like. So it's kind of a difficult texture of wax to work with, this type of wax. And just lifting ever so slowly, giving it a bit of a wiggle back and forth just to try and kind of loosen it from all sides. You can see that layer underneath. See how it stretches as we pull the wax here. You can see how it stretches and kind of elongates and springs back into position. So it's really not wanting to give up the fight here at the base of the canal. I'm just going to try with the crocodile forceps again. Sometimes you're lucky in those drier pieces as you lift them, that some are a little bit drier than others and they'll pull through, but it's just shearing straight through. So we've introduced a little bit of olive oil in here. There we are, just lifting from the sides. It's really going to stop this wax from adhering, and you'll see there's a little bit more movement now to this wax. It just the difference it makes by introducing that olive oil is quite substantial, especially with this drier type wax like this. There we are, it's just starting to move again, a little bit of a wiggle to this now. The difference in shape and canal, the entrance here is very narrow. You've got this wider section behind, so you're trying to pull this wider section through a much narrower gap. It's almost there. It's not going to work out easily, okay? I'll try and wiggle it now in the canal. Sometimes you can just move it enough and kind of shimmy it back and forth to be able to pull this out. But as you can see there, it's kind of wedged. Now, I've slowed this part down because what I want you to see is what happens if you haven't got the clearance then for the Jobson horn. When you've got this type of wax here and you try and push through, what you end up doing is you end up pushing, see how it pushes the wax further in? It doesn't allow you to get the kind of slanted end of the Jobson horn over. As it just hits the front, it just tips this wax back all the time. So we're having to use the suction tube now to get this out. It's just too, you can see it's actually caused it kind of go further in, which is going to cause us more problems. But as it's tipped over, we're going to aim for this slightly smoother section, slightly softer section now the oil's penetrated into it. And then we're going to wiggle this up and down, back and forth. It's almost, there you go, just about there you go. So out it pops. So you can see that how you had to kind of work that a lot more to get that out. You can see the redness there to the canal as well. Patient I could have gone and got the last little bit, but I'd put the patient through enough already. So so this is what we removed. You can see 2 centimeters, 3/4 of an inch there. Well, I hope you enjoyed the videos, guys. Take care of yourselves and one another, and I shall see you again really soon.